We are so glad you made it. Juicy show tonight. We got some baby ape drama. We got some ape drama. We got some excitement. And unfortunately, Trey's not here, but we have another friend with us today.
Okay. I need the price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking the price and it's dipping. Every day I check the price, bad price. I can't take this anymore, man. I have overinvested by a lot. It is.
Club NGMI.
We're doing it. We're doing it. We got Hard Rock Nick. We got the correct intro this time. It's not pizza party time. Oh, it's a beautiful moment.
I kind of like the pizza party one.
Talk to our audio guy.
Yeah,
talk to our audio. You got on me about it. How are you, Lou?
Does it still say MGI on it though?
Yeah, it does.
That I don't want to change.
That we're keeping forever.
I think that's
good.
great.
I mean, I excited that we have Hard Rock Nick welcoming us to the show. He was a big contributor to some pumps this week. We saw him on Twitter. He's doing well up. He's probably made an ETH worth of cameos at this point, right?
I'll take the under on that because he's
dirt cheap. It's very cheap. It's
so
well
worth
worth
$100 maybe. I mean,
yeah.
Ratwell has like 15 of them himself, and then Price probably has 3, and Pete made a couple, and so I mean it adds up. I think. I don't know. We don't know what his regular demographic is, but didn't he have to increase the price because he saw all the demand?
That's what I would guess. Like you gotta when you just start getting hammered with these dumb price go up videos, you gotta increase the price by $15. Go to 50. Like, come on, buddy. Yeah. People would pay a few hundred for this now. It's incredible. Babs, how was your week?
Week was good. I feel like we went through a lot of motions this week. We had some down days, and then it turned around, and it was a good week. It was a great weekend. It was nice to see, some of the market come back. We actually minted a few things. We'll get to the baby apes, but it was nice to be able to paper hand those faster than I should have. Like, we're back, right? Get to ladder and make the ladders way too small.
Big fun.
Okay. Just before the show, like I saw you all backstage. You all get here early. That's exciting. But I saw you all backstage, and I was not listening to you because there's a current drama with the baby apes right now happening on a Twitter Spaces, right? Which I'd rather be there than here.
Tony was listening in.
Tony was in there. Sneaky was in there. I was in there, which is not really like exciting yet, but could be some real drama because these little baby apes, first, they're a derivative of Bored Ape Yacht Club. We get it. The art actually looks cool. Like, I think it's in very similar style, if not the same style to the ape. So I get that appeal. We were in like the depths of winter still, right? Was that the first sign of winter thawing?
Like the baby apes? No,
yeah,
because we had the apes and cool cats and all like the blue chips kind of pumped beginning on Friday, right? And then we minted baby apes last night. So I'd say like the first signs of winter thawing was kind of Friday with all the stuff kind of running. But I'd say baby apes are probably the first mint that was really good where the floor turned to lava. Like, we haven't had one of those in a long time, other than maybe the corruption Dom drop. That was that might have been the first real sign, because that one was exciting. But yeah, you're probably right. It was one of the first mints that was real exciting.
It was like the way I was describing it is it was a good heat check, I think. Because we've had a lot of mints like that where someone throws the link in chat and other people are hopping in and people are like, oh, are we minting these? And then you see, I got 3, I got 8, I got 10, I got 2, and like everyone's going through and minting. And that was kind of cool to see because it's been probably a few weeks and, Night Crew's back. That's 2 nights in a row that we've had a couple of Night Crew mints.
One's going on now that is not having that because it's the camels, the 0.3.
There was
This
two that had
economy-
0.3. There's the strong apes too. Like in this economy, no one's minting for 0.3. And that was the beauty of the baby apes. What were they, like 0.02, I think?
0.02.
Yeah, like that. As we always say, I'll mint anything for 0.02, even in the depth of winter. It was funny how slow they sold out, and then how quickly they popped after. Like you don't see that often. Usually, if things pop right after and go hard, it's a fast sellout because you get the FOMO. But it almost seemed like no one knew about it until it sold out. Almost.
I don't think that happens if it's a 10,000 mint. It was a 5,000 mint, so I think that's why. Because it started picking up momentum around like 2,500, and if it's out of 10,000, I don't think it gets that momentum.
Yeah, and what I was worried about was how high gas has been because ETH has been ripping, and so once gas gets that high, and if the floor touches back down to 0.04 or so, people just won't buy because gas is too high to buy that low. So what are you doing? So that I like that hypothesis as it was posed in the Discord a little bit earlier of. If these really cheap mints go that low and gas is that high, you're screwed. There's likely no you. But these things went quick. It was very surprising to me, and I don't even remember exactly. Luckily, I didn't even have a strategy, so I didn't even put a ladder in there. I just kind of went to bed, listed one high, and it sold for 0.5, which was sick. And then they kept running until until two. Babs, can you say the CONTROVERSY word? Can you say that for me?
Oh man, like you're gonna make fun of me,
Come on.
but my wife always bugs me about this. I cannot spell words out loud. Like she'll always say words like in front of our kids and spell them out to me, and I'll just look at her with a dumb stare and be like, "Well, I can't do it. Like I'm not good at spelling words out loud."
I understand.
So I have zero clue what word you tried to spell.
Okay.
So it's embarrassing,
I'm wondering,
but it's a skill I don't have.
Controversy. That's
Yeah.
how I would
or is
say
it controversy?
Oh,
Controversy or controversy?
Controversy is how I would say it.
yeah, controversy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I'd say it.
Thank you,
What's the
Tom.
other?
Controversy, because I've heard that, especially with like some like Brits, I think.
Really?
People
Oh,
over
I've
in
never heard it pronounced that way. Yeah, controversy.
Yeah, Tony gets the trap that I was laying.
Yeah.
It didn't work though. I laid it. So there's been two controversies with the little baby ape club. First, they have currently, and we'll get to that later, a trait called Skinhead, and they have a set. And I thought it was like a one of one called Skinhead, but it's not. It's a trait, but it also has others that go with it that have like SS iconography associated with it and some Nazi symbolism that's tied in there. Not a great look, obviously.
And the jam heads, right?
I missed the jam
Boy.
heads, and
Right?
Jam Boy. Yeah,
think
Jam Boy.
It's Jam Boy.
I guess it's a reference to back in the day when people went golfing, they would make someone put jam on their head to keep the mosquitoes away from them. So basically like a caddy. So yeah, it's a derogatory term as well.
I see.
Yeah.
I was not familiar with that. And kudos to you, Babs, for navigating that well.
Tried my best. That. Yeah.
So that was controversy number one, was once you get some racial undertones or overtones, depending on if you're, or historical issues with, say, Jungle Freaks, normally the price, just talking about price, will take a hit. I also personally don't like to hold that kind of stuff just because I don't like to hold that kind of stuff. Like I didn't even mint the stupid fluffs because I thought they were weird. Like that was too far for me. I don't know. So no thanks on that. But even after that controversy, there's one going on now on the Twitter Spaces related to some nerd stuff, but also like copycat stuff. And it's not even, it's crazy. Like Lou, have you been following it at all?
Yeah. So
the second one,
the part that just came up on that Twitter Spaces. So the way I understand it, someone wrote an article about them stealing the art, and now that person is like on their team, on their dev team. So was it like an inside
I didn't
job?
know that.
That's what they're saying in the Spaces. So I don't know. It's very sketchy to me. I mean, this wasn't necessarily a project that I was ever looking at and thinking like a month from now this would still be relevant. So the way that I'm looking at it, and this might not be the right way, but my thought is this all just a publicity stunt to get their name out there and people talking about it? And then because they saw what happened with the Jungle Freaks, right?
Yeah.
And now the Jungle Freaks are like still 0.6 floor or whatever, and people are still buying them. So maybe their angle was to do something that would catch people's attention, and then people are buying them because there's sick freaks out there who see something like this, and then the price of those specific traits go way up, like we saw with the Misfits. Like, I don't know. Do you think they're doing that sort of angle, or do you think they're just like terrible people and they did this without even thinking that what they were doing was bad?
I could see them doing that if they had no momentum, right? Like, to me, they had momentum. They were selling well at the time. So like, why create controversy when you're already doing pretty well, I guess, right? Like, the trait thing, I guess maybe you thought that would get you eyeballs on it, but the article about stealing the art, like, I don't get why you would want that to create any eyes on you when you already had momentum, right? Like, you're already fine at that point. The traits, the suspect traits, like, maybe, but I think some people are just genuinely, embedded, have a bit of racism. So maybe they don't realize like what they were doing. Cause either way, like, what, other than Jungle Freaks, like, most of those traits that have that kind of stuff, I find people don't like it, right? Like, they dump it fast. Well, there was another project, and I can't even remember the name, that had traits that were really bad, and we all kind of dumped them pretty quick. The Wall Street Bulls, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
There was another one that, like, again, if you saw those traits and you don't like them, it's a lot easier to dump for guys like us, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what he's saying is like anyone could have wrote that article, really, but now that guy's like in their Discord. Like, it's weird that someone who came out saying an article that they did bad things is now like communicating with them as if he's on their side now. So that's where, to me, like, part of it makes me think someone in there is doing it like for attention, and it's working, I think. So I don't know. It's weird.
Well, what I'm wondering is, like, from the technical side, as the resident nerd, I guess there's it's like a race of who was first, and part of it's boiling down to IPFS and layers in the art on the spaces, because basically they're saying, show us your work, show us your computer on your stream so we can see your artwork to make sure you were first. But that's not really what matters now, I don't think, because what happened was Project A has minted out and is doing really well and has a bunch of secondary sales. Project B is going to mint out in 4 days, apparently, or going to mint in 4 days. So this is,
so you're saying they jumped in front to do, that's what the Blazed Cats tried to do, the Stoner Cats, right? Kind of thing.
Kind of, but they're the difference is there's two contracts, and they point to the same exact IPFS, which is important because whoever's paying for IPFS can rug and can just stop paying and like delete the files. So they're saying, if you're the real ones, then delete the files because you still have them. So delete them. So then what might be happening, maybe, is literally your JPEGs are dead, and it's a dead link once the metadata refreshes. So I don't know what's going to happen in those 4 days. And then there's another angle when those 4 days are up is, are they going to change traits? Are they going to change the artwork? Are they going to change the rarity? So then you do have two separate collections that look very similar potentially. And then there's Little Baby Ape Club, and then there's the other one that's named very similarly that I'm going to mix up every single time. So Robert is saying something happened with the Sevens and Oni, kind of, but it's a little different in that one contract was written and the metadata was pointing to, we'll say 1, 2, 3. And the other contract was written and the metadata is pointing to 1, 2, 3. And the chances of that happening are infinitesimal. Like blockchain technology relies on this being infinitesimally small. So somebody stole the URI from somebody else. And so it's whew, I'm just excited to see how it plays out, because it's like, this is NFT drama. And it wouldn't matter if these things didn't sell to start, which is what's kind of really interesting for all of this, because they sold and sold well. Surprising to me, because who really cares about Little Baby Bored Ape Yacht Club derivatives that aren't affiliated with Bored Ape Yacht Club that are maybe a DAO. I don't know why they sold to start, and then so I don't know what's going to happen next.
This isn't even the first like baby ape like project too, which is funny. Like I don't know if you remember, there was another one that was out a while ago, and it's
Amy
just
linked
funny.
it last night.
Yeah, like
and they
I've
still
seen
have
them
like a
before.
0.4 floor or something.
Yeah, it's just funny like how many ape derivative projects we can get. Everyone's just chasing that, right?
Yeah. I was
worried about
this.
this.
I don't know. I don't have a full on take because I'm already out of them. But if I was a holder, I wouldn't be holding them for much longer.
I never feel comfortable holding any of this derivative stuff because I do think if Bored Ape really wanted, they could take all that stuff off. Like the art's clearly stolen. It's the same traits. And they kind of like we've had this issue before. Those I can't even remember the names of them, but the skull apes, like it was the apes, but with the skulls, they looked exactly the same, had crowns that looked exactly the same. Like Bored Ape never did anything, but they said basically they stole our art. But if we rug them, all you're doing is you're hurting the customer that bought those. So like they leave it, but I'd rather not hold something that could be, taken off OpenSea at any time. Kind of like the whole funks issue, right?
We need to talk about apes. So let's bring back on our guest co-host HRN real quick.
Yo, Galactic Apes, I understand that you're down bad right now. Look, I know you're down bad. I know winter has been hard. You're literally shaking. But if you've had even a second of doubt, even a moment of weakness, I have to ask. Did you forget about the monkeys?
So good.
So did you all forget about the monkeys? Apparently I did because my Jedi sold over the weekend, and I basically I wasn't really thinking. I should have delisted. I wanted to delist, but I didn't really read the market well enough because things were thawing and I just left it there. So it's sold. It's over. I'm happy with the ETH, but I did forget about the monkeys. So I'm sorry, Mr. Nick, Hard Rock. But I do still have one gal ape, thank goodness, because then I can get the monkeys and go on expeditions whenever the hell that's coming up. So how are the gal apes doing? Is their floor moving up with all the rest of this ape stuff?
It did. I think it got down to as low as 0.4. And last I checked, it was kind of back up around 0.89. I haven't checked today, but that's the last I looked. It did run. It was about a 40% increase when all this other stuff was running. So it kind of ran. It's a blue chip, right? So like it ran with everything else.
What I was looking at it at like 0.54 or something like that. I almost bought one.
Yeah, I just looked. It's back down to 0.67. But it's not much to get back to 0.8. So I do feel like everything kind of pumped this weekend, and then kind of today it kind of cooled again. So like again, maybe we just had that weekend pump. I'm optimistic, hoping that it is thawing a bit, but I'm not going to do victory laps yet. I'd like to see a week or 10 days of this before we get too excited.
I'm very excited. The chat is on fire today. I hope you all are watching the chat. This is exciting. We've got some Bored Ape Yacht Club stuff. People are selling apes. People are talking about racism. It's exciting.
You should be happy with your Jedi sale though. Like don't like
totally.
6 point. Yeah, like I'd be pumped about that. You did what you did was right.
Oh, my overall market thesis is there's supply and demand. Let's talk about that. There's more and more PFP projects showing up every day. There's similar amount of buyers coming in every day. So what does that mean? Most of these projects are going to be going down. I'll keep playing my role of fuddy wing, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy to take the ETH and walk away. So yeah, I'm good with that. I should have sold earlier, of course. I should have minted more little baby apes and should have sold exactly at the top. You're never going to do that. So lesson to all of you and myself. Just keep telling yourself that, and then you can go to sleep at night, maybe.
So we talked about the galactic apes. Are we going to talk about the good apes, the apes that started the bull run?
Yeah, I know
Dangy hates it. He hates talking about it, but I'd like to hear his take.
Oh, I don't hate the apes. It's crazy because I don't know. I still don't really get it. I think we talked about months ago, CSU Rams, Peter Jennings' idea of like digital identity and how you get emotionally attached to stuff. I still don't really truly get it. But I see people's behavior and I feel like an alien because I see people's behavior. Like I'm never selling. I'm like, okay, I'm not selling for 9.5 million. I'm like, huh? What is it? What is that? But maybe you just want to hold it for a year and then save a bunch of money on your taxes. That would make sense to me. But I get it that apes are running, and I get that there's more utility than punks. And I'll reuse something that I said in the Discord, which is punks are to Bitcoin as apes are to ETH right now. I don't want to be on a yacht with a bunch of people, let alone a bunch of NFT nerds. But I think people will find that cool, and they put on a great show at NFT NYC, and so they're doing stuff. Larva Labs did a thing apparently, but I didn't hear about it. So yeah, I think if you're into that sort of a community building concept, sure, cool with me. Not worth $100,000, but it is to some people. Lou, as an outsider, what is your take on this ape run in general?
I like it. I think I've talked about it a couple times on the Lucky Trader streams about just in general. I think it's
No free
good for the
plugs.
market. Yeah. So there's a couple sides to it. I think one is that like, should apes be this high, but should punks be even higher? Like, what's the reason for paying 100 ETH for a punk when an ape that you actually get value from multiple times, like it makes more sense to me if I compare the two of them. But if you're comparing why someone would pay randomly like 150K for a Bored Ape who is just coming into NFTs, that part of it kind of doesn't make sense to me. But that's where we're seeing celebrities do it and people of higher wealth. And then people that aren't that are buying the mutants because they want to be a part of it. So you see, like it's like not an addiction, but it's like a want to be part of the team, like want to be part of the group and be the cool kid. And we've seen it. Like there's over 10,000 owners of mutants now. And like, I think that's a pretty good sign just in general. Like there's 16,000 mutants that have been minted and they have over 10,000 owners. Like the crypto dads,
That's
we've
crazy.
always talked about how it's like 80% because there's extra wallets and stuff. But this is like a way more legit number, I think. And I mean, there's how many total across because they have the dogs too. So that's like 36,000 ways to be a part of this community now. And we're seeing at NFT NYC, like our whole Twitter is all the different ape events. Like there's now famous people promoting it with MoonPay. Like, what do you guys think of this whole MoonPay thing? Do you think that's a good or bad look? Because in one way you could say, oh, are they getting paid to do this? But in the other is like, it's just advertising for MoonPay so that then future people will use MoonPay. So I don't know. What's your take on this MoonPay situation?
I'm fine with it. That's how the world works is people get paid to do things. It's no different than someone wearing, a certain brand while they're golfing, right? Like Tiger Woods, Nike, like he probably likes Nike, but he's also getting paid to wear those clothes, use those clubs. It's no different. I don't think Jimmy Fallon or Post Malone, maybe, obviously they're interested in NFTs. They wouldn't just do it because they're getting paid to do it. But if they get paid for advertising on the side, like that's how the world works. And it usually ends up everyone's better off. It's more exposure for the company. The person gets more exposure. NFTs get more exposure. Like I'm not really like, it doesn't bother me that much. Like I'm happy anytime NFTs and, the space can get more eyes on it. And I just think that's a good way to do it, right? Like advertising with celebrities, like Jimmy Fallon bought an ape. That's 53 million eyes on his Twitter that maybe didn't even know what that was, that all of a sudden now he's using an ape as a PFP. Like that gives it legitimacy. Like people that would have made fun of it before might now not make fun of it. Right. Like all of a sudden someone that you look up to thinks like an important celebrity does that, it kind of changes maybe your outlook on it. And, that's all good for NFTs in general. But Dangy, I'm curious of your opinion.
No, I do also think it's great. And what's really interesting to me is what's the Venn diagram? This is a rhetorical question. What's the Venn diagram between Post Malone fans and Jimmy Fallon fans? Is there a big overlap there?
I think there's
maybe a little bit.
I would say there's a bigger overlap than you might think.
Yeah.
Because because they're like both famous people, if that is enough of a reason,
that's fair enough. I could see Post Malone being famous for being famous at this point.
Yeah,
I don't listen to his music, but I know who he is.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean by it. Yeah.
Why is your take on? And I'm just curious because I'm obviously the insider. I'm the one that has an ape. Why can you not understand someone wanting to pay 150 grand to be part of a club? Like I get that. I get it. Like if I didn't think apes were going to go up tomorrow, I would have sold by now. Like I'm not the type, like Dangy always says, like all these people are, I'm not selling till 9 million. Like that's not me. I have a price I would sell at. If you told me tomorrow apes are never going up, I would probably sell. I'm rational. I told myself I wouldn't get attached to any of this stuff, but I also see why people are interested, right? Like there's only 10,000. It's an exclusive digital club. There's a lot of people in the world that have a lot of money. People want to be part of a club that celebrities, athletes, very important rich people are part of. All those other rich people also want to be in that club, right? Like I get the value of it, especially as we get more towards the social identity. Again, there's only 10,000. All the people buying them are probably more likely to be people that never sell them again. Like, do you think Jimmy Fallon's ever selling that ape? No. It's just taking another one off the market. It's another person that would never sell. I just see the bull case. I've never been more bullish on apes than I am now. Yeah. I know Lou and I have talked about this a lot. It just like compounds to the point where so many people know about it now and so many celebrities are buying it. All the other celebrities are going to start to want to follow, right? Like it just happens. But
so many musicians that aren't even like, it's not out there and known. Like Tom Brady has an ape and people don't talk about that one, but there's all these other like, and I don't want to call them like B-list celebrities, but I think there's a lot more people who are like somewhat famous that have an ape than people realize. Cause I've seen lists and I've interacted with a couple different people that have apes who are like 20,000 followers, 10,000 followers, and they just don't have it as their profile picture. Or some of them that do have it as their profile picture. So Babs, cover your ears. I've gone to a lot of concerts this year who the artists that I went to, I found out that they had a Bored Ape because I started following them on Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and I saw the interactions they had. And I think there's more people than we realize, and they're starting to come out more. The way I would word all this, I probably wouldn't buy a Bored Ape right now, but if I had one, I would be way less likely to want to sell it right now than I did a couple months ago. I think the likelihood that a Bored Ape goes to 100 ETH is probably likelier long-term in that it won't go like under 20 ETH. Probably long-term more likely than a lot of other things in the space. Like people talk about what's the next Bored Ape. Like that's the thing people say. People don't really say what's going to be the next punk anymore, right? Like, I don't know when apes flip punks.
Oh my God.
Momentum's a big thing, right? Like I used to think that like apes flipping punks was probably a 1% chance. I actually think it's more like 15 to 20 now. Like I still don't think it's likely, but could you tell me it's got a 1 in 4 shot of actually flipping punks? I could believe that just because of those other reasons. Like they keep building. There's so much going on. There's all this hype and interest on it. Eventually that stuff again, momentum's a huge thing.
Babs, when you were saying 15% and you started with the sound, I really thought you were going to go 50. I really did.
Yeah, no, I'm not that bullish. Like I do think punks always have that historical significance claim. Like that's a hard thing to overcome. But 2 years from now, I question whether or not people are going to care about that historical significance as much when all the hype and momentum has been around Bored Apes, right? Like eventually, if that continues, people fade the other narrative and want the narrative of the exciting thing that all the celebrities and athletes are buying. Exactly. So
Yeah.
It's the new game in town.
The thing for me that you said, Babs, that I think is changing my mind, if anything, on these could go up is, well, I think it's two things, but the main one is there's a shitload of money out there. There's just so much money, and there's just so much money, and like my brain, like
this is when
humans are
like 6 months ago we didn't think, but like some of these pumps, even this pump over the weekend, like how many people just someone tweeted that they're like, how many people do we think just randomly had 150K sitting around? But there are people out there who just do. It's weird.
It blows my mind. So that's the other part for me is my threshold might be lower as far as what money I'm trying to stack and keep and save, that kind of thing. So that's why I'm a paper-handed guy by and large, which is what I want to do. That's fine. I've come to terms with that, so I don't care. And so it's always funny to me when people ask me for, like, if they ask me for advice versus if they ask like Babs or like Diamond Hands Trey, who's not here, so I can say this freely, but like, ask who you want on the show to get the answer that you want, because we'll give you different answers. Like, that's how it goes. So
Trey will be like, oh yeah, I have 12 apes. I don't know, I might sell one. I'm waiting for the moon back. You think he's sold any ENS? He had like 400 and he debated. It went up to like $80 and he's like, nah, it's only like an X amount valuation. And it's like, you're not gonna sell like 50 of them, just take off like 1 ETH, 2 ETH or whatever. Nah,
no chance.
No chance.
No chance.
I'd actually be curious about, we'll have to ask him next time, but his take, he was always chasing that punk, right? Like he always wanted to chase the punk. He was never really interested in ape. I'm curious if his perspective has changed. Like I don't think he would go and buy an ape, but I'm curious if he would still, if he had the choice, go punk 100%, because he was always in that boat of like the punk chaser. So like we'll have to ask him next show, just with all the momentum. I'd just be curious.
Punk chaser. I like that. The punk chasers. Go ahead, Lou.
I was just thinking back to a conversation that I had with Babs one day where if I remember it correctly, it was something along the lines of me saying, I think I would need to have a 30 ETH liquid balance in order to buy a punk. Like that's how low punks were at the time. It was like probably 12 to 15, but I didn't want to like spend more than, X amount of and now it's like, are they ever going to be back down to 30 ETH? So it's funny when you look back at some of those old conversations from 4 months ago. Like they're not even that long ago.
Yeah. I remember the first time I like kind of started thinking about it, and like I talked to you about it, Lou, and it was 18 ETH floor. Like it's kind of crazy to think about. That wasn't that long ago, right? Like we had those conversations and it was not that long ago. So who knows, another year from now, like you just never know what's going to happen. Like I remember when we first got into Top Shot, punks were, like US value of, 10 grand. And I thought that was insane, right? Like if you think, you know what I mean? If you think back to it, it was like, who's paying 10 grand for a picture? And now we're talking about Bored Apes being, close to 180, and we still think it's crazy. Would it surprise me if a year and a half from now, we're talking about a 500,000 floor and we still think it's crazy? It would not surprise me at all.
The mutant floor is now what, like 25K? The mutant floor is pretty high up there too.
Can we stop talking about USD, please? I am hemming and hawing about a significant investment, and then I look at the USD and I'm like, oh, I can't do it.
The floor of a mutant ape is currently a Jedi Gal ape.
Oh,
yeah.
Now you get it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have traded. Yeah. Maybe you should have done that.
I had been considering a trade, and I'm too late. Like that's honestly, it's a lot of work to try to work out a trade.
Yeah.
I'd love to just say I want to go throw a trade out there, and then somebody picks it up. And if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. But I can't. To me, that's like shout out to the pre-sale grinders in our Discord. It's like that level of like pain that I just can't handle, because oh God, you got the butter.
I don't even try those anymore.
I can't. I literally don't have a day job, and I do not have the time to grind these things. I just can't. I don't know how they do it. So we'll. I don't know. We'll see.
Have you felt you had less time? Have you felt
Get
you
outta
have
here, Eric.
less time to be on top of things related to NFTs recently since you switched? Like, are you? Because I mean, I guess we have a little different scenarios, but we both basically quit our jobs around the same time. I, even though I'm like always following NFTs and watching NFTs, I feel like I never have time to like stop and mint something, which during the last few weeks hasn't necessarily been the worst thing. But have you found yourself like, has it been harder for you to stay on top of things or easier?
I'd say harder because I'm really trying to get into DeFi stuff now.
Yeah.
And that is however deep you want to go. I'll report back next week. Well, actually I'm gone next week, but I'll report back at some point because I played like this. There's a very weird game for like a specific DAO that people want to get into, and then it's locked up, but it already has a lot of money locked up in it. So I don't know. I had to play like a WASD game in the browser to get through. Temple.
Wait, that's the Temple one?
Yeah, and you gotta like you put in money and you burn it and it's just gone, and then you get it later on. That's a normal kind of mechanism in a lot of these though. But I joked that, I'm going to show my family over Thanksgiving this DeFi game and say, hey, here's the future of decentralized finance. And you have to play this game. You have to go type in the Discord, win moon, sir, and then put a sunshine in there. It's crazy. So that's how deep I am in DeFi. It's like 8 months ago, I would have thought that Aave was deep and that Curve was deep. No. You can get much deeper in that. And watch out, probably this Wednesday, I'll plug myself. I think there will be another Pump Skull / Gump Skull stream on some DeFi Kingdom stuff and potentially some other DeFi areas. Maybe some reverse. We'll see what's going on with reverse there. While we're kind of transitioning, I just wanted to shout out esteemed Discord member Keegs. Happy birthday, Mr. Keegs. I hear you're turning X number of years old. I have no clue how old you are actually.
34. He's 34 today.
How do you know this?
Because I said happy birthday to him.
Oh,
I'm a nice guy.
That's very
Do
sweet.
your own research.
Yeah, I did my own research. I put in my 50 hours. I found out how old he was. He aged beautifully. Yeah.
That's the Hard Rock Nick video we need is just a random happy birthday video. Or maybe we could get him to sing happy birthday.
Lou, I'm glad you said that because my finger is over a button related to Babs's research.
Every day I check for Babs daily recap. No recap. I wake up at night, sweats, and check. Still no recap. Do something. Where's Ja? I'm literally shaking right now. Pete hasn't been here in days. Can he make Babs do a recap? Why is gas so high?
So shout out to Price, who's in the chat, for commissioning that piece of art. I wonder, do you get commercial rights to these cameos? Could be NFTs?
Mint it?
Yeah.
I always wondered that. I don't know. I feel
Are they in stock, Claire? Yeah, we could talk about those.
What?
I'm in on HNT. What? Told you, DGen stuff. Okay, so let's talk Art Blocks curated because we've had 2 in season 5 so far, right?
Double birthdays.
Love it. Happy birthday, We're a Superstar. That's how I'm going to go with it. I'm just going to say it very quickly. We're a Superstar.
close enough. Good try.
Well, because I was an RA in college, of course, I just don't say those words that way.
I believe that you'd be an RA.
Well, shout out to Keegs again. That was our career. Like literally, I was an RA, and then what did I grow up to be? I was an RA's boss, and then I was the boss of those bosses, and then that was my career.
Did you go to college with Keegs?
No, not with Keegs, but just same path.
Oh. Okay.
No one's surprised that you're an RA.
Yeah, no one's surprised.
We've had this
what do
conversation
you want?
before. Like I already knew you're an RA, and I said it's the least surprising thing I've ever heard. just narking on everyone.
I wasn't really like the cool RA. I was just the lazy RA. So that was basically the cool RA.
Yeah. Those are the cool RAs. The ones that like
Yeah.
don't go and check on you all the time or like complain at all.
Yeah, but I played the similar role in like the Discord that I did when I was an RA. Like if you were down bad, I would help you, and I would be the one to try to listen to you sometimes. I wouldn't drink with you or smoke with you. That just felt like a bridge too far. So I would just be kind of that guy.
You
play
want to
video
risk
games with you.
your job. They're paying you to be the RA, right? Or in some format.
Yeah, Lou gets it.
Yeah.
You get it. Yeah.
I wasn't an RA.
Really? Not surprising. So Artbox curated. We've had 2, and I'd say we are 1 for 2 on success rate on Artbox curated. What are you hemming and hawing for, Babs?
The first one was a success if you held, right? Like
he sold too early.
Yeah, like I'd say most people fell victim to the winter fears, which was Edifice was the first one in Series 5. It's minted out at 2.4 for the Dutch auction. It kind of ran up to about 3.7-ish, and you started getting hopes that it was going to be the next fragments and it was going to keep running. And, people started delisting, and then it crashed back down to 2.5, I think it got back down to. So again, like it was barely above mint with gas. It was actually below mint with gas for most people. So then, the winter blues come in, and you might have got out before with, any profit or hardly any profit or even a loss. But it did actually end up running to a 6 ETH floor over the weekend during the bull run. So yeah, it was a win if you held. It was still pretty good. I think the floor dipped down again a bit. But yeah, a good win other than the one today, which I'll let you guys talk about.
Yeah, I think it's under 5 now, right? For Edifice.
Yeah, I think it dipped back down under 5.
Yeah.
Wow. What was where did that mint out at the Edifice
2.4, but gas spiked though too, right? So if you got in early, it was probably not bad. If you got in late, your cost was more like 2.9, right? So.
Yeah. And I mean, it was weird because I was talking to someone about this where basically they were shopping for art blocks, and Edifice was oddly one of them on the list that I had because it's the first of this series, and we know that people like to collect all of the series or cross all the way. So I knew there would be some sort of demand for it because it was kind of a lower mint count, wasn't over 1,000, and it's the first, and people are just overly cautious right now about holding things that are that expensive. So it was cheaper than it probably should have been, but the one today, I don't know. I was never a fan of the art, really. Yeah, I mean, these are they came out subpar looking, in my opinion.
When I saw the preview, I kind of told myself like, there's no way I'm minting it above 1.5, just because I actually liked Edifice. I actually thought the Edifice art was nice. Yeah. It looked good. I would hang it on my wall. These ones, I knew I did not like them personally. Like I would feel a lot dumber when I minted it for 2, having to take a loss on it, right? So I avoided it. I think it's probably the first curated I avoided since I can't even tell you when. I can't even remember back that far. So maybe I'm learning.
Some of the I get it. Some of them are cool, but kind of in a novelty sort of way. I just realized this. I have something that's related. I haven't put it up yet, but I have I used to be into mustaches. And so I have typography of mustaches, and they're all like curly braces kind of thing, which relates to this kind of art because it's typographical in nature. And I was trying to look over here to see what the highest sales have been. But a lot of them seem just kind of dumb looking. in a lot of ways, like really bland. But I do want to dig in a little bit into like the tech side of it because these are all generative. How do you generate this? Which is cool, but King in the Discord was talking about like, okay, so it's cool, but what about that art blocks that was in like 50 lines of code that made something really cool? Do people care about that? Turns out not so much, it appears. So yeah, this floor is 0.8, and it sold out at 2, which is surprising for everybody. I think I'm shocked at that, but
it kind of looks like scripture.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like
Yeah.
but in another language.
Yeah.
Like some of that, it kind of looks like, I'm not gonna like
I get
cancel
that vibe
myself,
from this one.
but like Arabic a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the characters, like so I didn't think of this as like typography when I was first looking, but Tony was saying that that's what it was too. I don't know. I feel like people aren't really you're either into it or you're not, and it's pretty like it's a niche thing to be into, I think too.
Yeah, like
But-
some of them look okay. Like I don't mind that one. But some of them like have 4
sounds great.
weird little lines on them. Like
yeah.
I don't know. It's
Underwhelming.
it's very underwhelming. And I actually find it's like reflective of the curated lately. If the art
Oh.
looks underwhelming, they don't really succeed. Like Trossets is another good example. Like to me, those were kind of underwhelming. They all kind of looked the same. It was just a bunch of blocks and lines. Like you almost like, and maybe this is we're starting to appreciate the art. Like I actually need to appreciate the art for it to want to get excited about it now, which the secondary market probably feels the same because these aren't doing that well.
I totally agree. We'll see what happens. When's the next curated? Have they released the next one, or are they doing mostly Mondays?
They did the last 2 Mondays. I actually wonder after this one if they pump the brakes a bit. I feel like you can't keep releasing things and then them be under 50% or more under mint another, the same day or after. Like eventually people are going to get tired of minting your projects, and the curated ones are supposed to be the ones that people are the most excited about, right? Like maybe you should rethink your curated picking process at that point.
But also, like this is now floor of curated, so you're not going to hit on all of them as far as a curation process. I think that's fine. Even Breaking Bad had bad episodes, I guess, as far as art not always hitting the best. So I don't know. I think the next one will be important to bounce back for art blocks curated, and we'll see what that looks like. Let's talk Dutch auction strategy, because it seems like for all of these, you get 1 or 2 in the beginning, which we didn't for this one. We're like, oh boy, we don't get the first 2 fresh out of the box mints for 10 ETH or even for 8 or whatever. And then you get like less than 10% at one level, and then they go almost every single time. So have there been exceptions to that rule, or is there any nuance there? Because I was shocked that it went at 2 just for being price sensitive, but that's how it happened. Some people went at 2.4 or so, and then it just the levy broke, if you will, at 2. So is that what you see, Babs, in all these Dutches? I'm not talking AB. I'm talking even the Mutant Ape auction, any other Dutches that we've seen.
Yeah, like Mutant Ape one was very unique in the fact that it was a stealth and it dropped kind of late-ish at night. So like it didn't
like a Saturday.
Saturday night, it was late, and it slowly was ticking down. Like art blocks is every 5 minutes the price changes. Some of those other Dutch auctions, Mutant Apes, the Supduck Frogs, a few of them just slowly tick down over time. So like it was like 0.01 just slowly dripping. So that one, you don't see those ones run as fast because there's not a big price decrease every 5 minutes, where the art block ones that, they might have a 0.25 to 0.5 decrease every 5 minutes. That new tier, all of a sudden, once people start buying there, it runs really fast, where those Mutant Ape and Supduck ones are more of like kind of a slow build up to that sellout point. Once they get to 50, 60% sold out, then they run, but it's not that first 50% doesn't run like art blocks' first 50% runs, right? Like if you're not firing when that art block's first 50% like almost gets sold, you're almost not going to get it because it goes that quickly.
Yeah, I find their tiers a little weird in general, but like the Edifice one was very weird. It went from 3.8 to 2.4, right? I feel like that's generally where a lot of them are selling out. Like there should have been a 3 in there also, or something in between the two. So that severe of a gap, I think, is even more of the game theory, because I think everyone in their mind was like 2.4 is when I'm going to start tracking this.
Yeah, I remember like even us for Edifice, we started talking, we said, we're firing instantly at 2.4. Like we already had our minds made up before we even see if it started to sell. Like that's how big the jump was. I think it was 3.8 or 3.5 down to 2.4. Where this one today had like, I think 0.25 drops. And like, that's a lot harder to gauge of when you're actually going to fire. And like Dangy said, I was shocked it started going at 2. But once it starts going, you don't have a bunch of time to decide. I think there was one Art Blocks drop where it was 50, like it got 50% sold out in the one tier and it actually made it to the next tier. I think you ended up paying more gas in the lower tier because you were chasing it. You would have been better off buying it. Yeah. But there is the odd time where it gets to 40, 50% sold out in the one tier and actually makes it to the next one. But
Adam had a good point in the chat too of like generative art itself is getting a little stale, which I kind of agree with. And earlier today, I was just thinking, I wanted to have Tig on, and I forgot to even ask him, and I forgot why I wanted Tig on, but I remembered I wanted Tig on, and here's why: because there was some hen drama, because the hen platform broke. It's over. Like it died, but Tezos was still there, so people had a whole bunch of crazy takes, and I was listening to a few podcasts about it. And basically what happened was the marketplace died, and then another one sprung up shortly thereafter. But people's projects and everything were still available and everything on the Tezos network. And this is literally why we do things on the blockchain and why blockchains are good, because it's not one spot and one point of failure. It's multiple. So, Lou, I saw you nodding your head. Did you see that hen news and hen kind of breakdown? Because
Tony was all about
a little bit on hen, but not much. Really?
Like giving updates on it. There was people in like their Discord, they were very confused, I guess, as to what's going on. Is this affecting, like, am I losing my Tezos? Am I losing my NFTs? Like, is it the site is down? Is the site migrating? Like, no one knew what was going on, I feel like. And so it's weird. Like I wasn't in hen. I might have a NFT on there. I might have done that at one point. But I don't know. It's a type of thing where, like, how big was it at this point? Like
how big was the market?
Yeah, how big was the market with hen? Like how many people like just completely lost accounts?
Oh,
did that happen?
That's a great question. I've led us into a bad spot because I don't know anything about it, but I just thought it was interesting. So that's where we are now as a show, or as people sharing words for other people. So I honestly have no idea about the figures of what it looked like or even what the impact was. But my understanding was they lost the platform, but the items were still there and then have been rejuvenated elsewhere. Yeah. So that's one thing I'll add to my to-do list for tomorrow. Yeah. But I don't know about like losing their actual accounts and that kind of thing. Because I was listening to Kevin Rose's podcast with JJJJ John with a lot of J's. He sometimes does 5, sometimes does 10. So they were talking about hen, but like nothing was going on. But I knew this was going backwards, but I knew that this hen had fallen down before. So it's kind of crazy that there's a single point of failure. Then it goes back to our previous conversation where we were talking about competitors to OpenSea and what Coinbase NFT is going to do, and 721s, how they're interoperable by definition, and yada, yada, yada. So I think it's a good thing. It'll be interesting to see where like what things we have on which platforms and which are exclusives. Because I know like Immutable is one that people are looking at, and Show You had a terrible pun in a tweet tonight. They're excited to show you what they've been doing soon, is what they said, which sucked, but I'm into bad puns. So I'm excited about Show You for sure. Tony said Hen was janky. Yeah, well, it's part of the charm of Hen. It was terrible to use, terrible to navigate, hard to sell things, hard to buy things, and that was where the super duper nerds hung out as far as some generative art and also some general like glitch art would hang out. And I know Kevin Rose was really into that kind of stuff. So it's pretty far afield. So yeah, that's what I have on Hen. I did finally look at the ETH price.
Yeah, it's been going down. We're down bad. It's not great.
I'm back in, Dangy.
I did not tether up top. I could, but I'd be buying in higher from where I bought back in before. I did talk about the DeFi streets. I did have to go check on some bags where I'm borrowing against my ETH. So we're good. We're good on that front. But it's the first time I had to go like, oh,
yeah,
we're getting liquidated.
I started doing that with Avalanche on Aave. You'd be proud. There used to be way more things on Aave that were providing greater than 5% APR. That's how I would word it. I was looking through, I was like, oh, what other pools can I go into? And then I'm like, it's really like only Avalanche right now. I feel like I don't know. What was your thought on that?
That's what surprised. I was surprised there too. Yeah. I have done some stuff over in Avalanche. When Avalanche Rush happened, we were like, oh, look. And then we were losing money doing the loop between borrowing and lending. So then I ran away, and then the loop became lucrative again. It's the normal stuff that I do. But right now I'm over on Tranquil, actually on the Harmony network. We are Harmony maxis in our Discord in a lot of ways, but they have good APYs. So you get 7% for depositing and 11% for borrowing. So you could do that loop and lever up pretty safely on ETH. I'm doing personally, I deposit ETH and I borrow against that ETH for stables and then convert those stables into regular native tokens. In this case, it's One and Jewel that I use over on Harmony. So yeah, that's what I'm doing over there. But we're good. We're surviving. Let's see what's coming up. We've got that one that has that trailer that Lou's gonna remember, the red whatevers.
Red Village.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm super excited about Red Village. After I saw that trailer, I got hyped. Like it looks good. Like why does no one know about it?
I think we hibernated under the radar. It's connected to another project, isn't it?
Zed partnered with them.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, because people haven't been following Zed recently.
They still have a lot of users though, right? Like that's the thing. Like I couldn't tell you how many people are in the Zed Discord, and they still have like a lot of people playing Zed. Like sure, it's probably not as profitable, or the horses aren't selling for as much as it used to, but a lot of people are still playing it. A lot of people still, have Zed bags. I just kind of thought between that and the actual trailer that maybe it would have more eyes on it, but you don't really hear about anyone talking about it other than us. Like it's got like kind of all the stuff we like the trailer made the graphics look really good for especially an NFT game. Like we haven't really seen an NFT game that has good graphics yet. And it has like the play to earn kind of PvP aspect. It's just interesting to me. So like I'm on the whitelist. I'm really looking forward to minting it. I think that's tomorrow. The pre-sale starts. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Red Village?
I think the game's coming out in December or something, or like maybe beta for it or something.
Well, this is what's interesting. You go to tournaments, and then it's coming soon. Which is
shout out Jay Miner. He banked a big Zed race yesterday.
Yeah.
The Netflix race for like cool like 45K or something around there in USD, which if you didn't switch it off of ETH might be lower today, but
that sucks.
Still big win for him, and I think it was one of those contests that I think they matched the fees, so it was boosted a little more than normal. So people are still playing Zed, and I think someone has told me that there's only like 100 like really profitable horses that are there, and they're in all of the expensive races and like things like that. Like there's some sort of like monopoly in there, but I think they're trying to work on different game modes and different ways to make those like middle of the road horses some sort of like value to them. And like how TOC did their, like, they started doing the low ball tournaments, stuff like that, where they've been doing that in Zed too, where if you finish like 6th to 10th, or you have to have like an average, like there's something along those lines. I don't remember the exact tournament, but it was something along the lines of like you can't have like, it was 5 or less % win rate, like things like that. So they are trying to do things to even the field a little bit. There's so much on this roadmap.
I want to be bullish, but I'm finding it harder and harder to be bullish. The other project that's like Zed that I was really bullish on, Chicken Derby. They have their beta coming out soon, so that seems like a thing. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I'm not nearly as jazzed as I was. Too many. Too many. I've probably got between 6 and 10. I believe they're in hidden, just so I stopped looking at them. So who knows? Got to dig them out.
I can't even use my hidden folder anymore. I can't find stuff in there that I might want to unhide.
I got to admit something. I snooped on Babs to see how he was pricing these little baby apes, and then I just saw the amount of stuff that gets thrown at poor Mitchell Baba's account. It is terrible. Like,
I mean, do you not, Dangy?
No, I'm not to that level.
I have like
I don't really
1,500 things in my hidden folder right now. I maybe added 30.
Yeah, I have the same. I have 1.5K in my hidden folder now. I don't even venture in there. Like, I get 100 things minted to me a day now. It feels like it's so frustrating. But
I had to unhide some weird stuff because I was like, I might want to list this one day, and I won't be able to find it again.
Well, yeah, like that's the thing. Like, I don't even know what's in there that legit could maybe sell for 0.01 anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I used to just hide that stuff and say like, oh, I'd list it and maybe one day to sell. I couldn't even tell you what's in there anymore. Like, why are we fudding Red Village? All the chat's fudding my Red Village talk. I just think like if you're getting a Genesis option in a game, like, maybe the game sucks and it never happens, but yeah, why not? Like, I'm gonna mint it. I'll take the chance. I'm always like more bullish on like the game aspect thing rather than the like the PFP stuff.
I mean,
we always say we want utility. We always want utility, and then when someone comes out with something like this, we FUD it instantly. Like, I don't know. I always think that the game part is the future, right? So like, I'd rather take a chance on this than crazy camels for 0.3.
Well, and it seems fairly in depth too, which is what I like. Like, it's going to appeal to us nerds. It's got factions, it's got summoning, it's got warlords, it's got actual fighting. I don't know if that's what I always get worried about. Like, what is it really going to look like when you're actually doing the fighting? Kind of like with Axie. Okay, P to E. What does that mean? Vox. I've never seen Vox. I've never seen Townstar. What that looks like. I'd be interested to look at what that looks like as far as the gameplay goes. So it's cool to earn when you're playing, but is it fun to play? That's my ultimate question. Like, because it's easy to build this game with the summoning aspects, and that makes sense with NFTs. You can merge these things, do some math, then you get a new NFT. Cool. But when I go fight these things, is it cool? I have no idea. And the chat was talking about the video. Like, yes, it's relatively easy to commission a video that's cool. You throw some money at people and they can spin out a video in some set period of time. Fine. But how many of those do you see? I don't see that many. I feel like the level has gone up on a lot of these, the artwork and the teaser videos, et cetera, that you're seeing with these projects. So,
Illuvium had a pretty cool teaser as well recently, but that one's still, I think, a few months out.
Oh yeah, that's been the long-term FUD for a lot of these games. Is Game development takes forever. So when do we actually get one? I don't know. Maybe in like the macro cycle sense, maybe we need a longer winter to come for people to, hate to say it, TD, but for people to build. And then we come out on the other end, and then Parallel is a really cool card game. Frontier, you get to use those keys, whatever the heck those keys are in Frontier. Do anybody know what those keys are? I have no idea.
I think I still have some of those.
Yeah, I have them too. Yeah.
Babs, you're so excited about those keys. So yeah, I think once we get done with the winter or through winter, then people will have a time to build these games into what they could become. So I'm excited about Red Village. I'm interested in it. I agree with the Genesis angle for Mitch, for Babs. What else are we looking forward to this week? Do we have any other projects we care about? I don't think.
Yeah, I have something to share, but yeah, I mean, I did. There's CloneX moved theirs. I was like really excited for that.
Yeah, I was.
But
excited
we
too.
have a
I'm sad
video
we
that was
pushed it.
sent that I was trying to upload. I don't know if I can. Okay.
Oh my god.
I don't think I can upload it.
Oh no!
What file type does it have to be? MKV, you said?
You open up the share tab, and then you make sure you say Chrome tab. You can also send it to me, and I can do it.
Oh yeah, I could just share screen. Okay.
I was joking about that, but
yeah. While Lou
let's
gets
do
this
that.
up. Oh, you're gonna do it? Okay, do it.
I'm excited.
Let's see if it runs. Okay, I'm gonna share it. Yeah. So, what do you guys think about CloneX again? They're
To be honest, I'd rather them delay than rush it and have something go wrong. But yeah, I feel like we've been waiting on this for 2 months now. You know, I was kind of hoping we'd get this during like the little bit of bull run we had on the weekend, and maybe it would bring some excitement back. And it was kind of one of the few mints I was actually kind of looking forward to. I don't have a ton on my radar. Like someone in the chat said, Legend Maps is this week. I'm interested in that one. I'm not going to say I'm not scared to mint it, but it does feel like it appeals to super nerds and kind of those real in depth kind of crypto nerds. So I'll watch it. Like I'm on whitelist for that one too, but I am scared. Like I find most of those whitelists end up being pretty dusty these days.
And there's Hot Wheels on wax too.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. You gonna get some? I think I'm going to.
No.
And just so I can like open some packs on the stream. That's why I'm kind of excited to try out. But
there you go.
Yeah,
and
I'm
this
gonna
used to be
I'm
the
gonna
only
show
on
you
ramp
this
in the wax
video
too.
real quick.
Oh no.
Can you hear it?
Yeah. I wasn't really like the cool. All right.
So that was created from our buddy Jay Price in real time. That happened like 20 minutes
ago. Pretty good.
It's good.
So yeah, so Price. Hot Wheels, that one, it's on my list. CloneX obviously was, that one didn't. I might get in on those Merry mods. We had Tom Bilyeu on with Lucky Trader this morning, and he made me pretty bullish. So I mean, it was more like you're betting on a team and someone who, to me, sounds like he's putting his reputation on the line, which is something that we look at a lot. He wants it to be specifically like part of your Christmas routine. Like this is one of the things that is why he used Christmas as the theme, but there's like stories behind the characters. He made me pretty bullish on the artist himself and how difficult it was to do 2D versus 3D. And so those are private sailing right now. And then tomorrow morning, they start doing the public sale. Dangy, have you heard of, are you a Tom Bilyeu guy?
You're setting me up for failure. I haven't really heard of him. I know Trey is a big Tom
Trey's
Bilyeu guy. So
in take, yeah.
I don't know. Folks like Tom Bilyeu just don't speak to me in general. I get Gary V vibes as well.
Yeah.
From Tom Bilyeu, which is no harm against it. I think they're very positive folks, and I think that's what doesn't make me excited about them, just because it feels a little too saccharine, if you will, if you want a $2 word. So I'll probably be out on the Tom Bilyeu's, but there's Ghostbusters NFTs. Lou and TD, who are on the Lucky Trader team and have looked at this calendar, did not tell us there are Ghostbusters NFTs. I feel like this is cool. I don't have to know anything else about it. Just
connected
in
to
Ghostbusters.
the actual brand?
Great question. I did this research before I showed it up on the screen. The
Ghostbusters
Big Head Club.
Afterlife. When was that?
Oh.
When did that one come out?
I don't care.
That newer one?
Sanctioned by Sony.
Isn't big like maybe this is FUD, but isn't Big Head Club Stoner Cats? It is. Yeah, like why are you excited about that?
Episode 2
Boo,
coming
boo,
out.
Boo.
Because it's Ghostbusters. I mean, this is cool.
There's 10,000.
And whenever you see, sir, there are 10,500 of them.
See, real ones. See, you're trying to say that we didn't do any research on this. Sony Pictures backed up. See?
Oh,
no
look at
reservations.
this. And they see all your FUD and they're just swiping it away. Environmental impact. Gas wars. Get out of here. I love this.
So when's this
I'm gonna
go?
look
When
at
does
these.
this mint? When is it mint?
November 14th and 15th, it looks like.
That's today.
Starting on the 8th.
Yeah. So it
All these are
already
motion
minted.
vignettes. Oh boy.
Yeah, we missed it.
It already happened, or did it just not mint?
Go to bid on
I have
OpenSea.
no
Click
idea.
that button.
Oh, I did. Oh, you can't see it.
No.
Let me go in here.
Let's see. Because I put together some of these.
Oh yeah, we're broke.
earlier, but-
0.884.
What happened?
Wow.
But is this a 1155?
That's no. That looks
must
like
be a
it's
101 maybe.
an auctioned off one.
Oh,
yeah.
these are vignettes leading
Yeah.
up to the mint, I believe.
Okay.
November
I had a
18th
couple
are the
other
mini
ones that,
puffs.
did you guys see the Constitution DAO? This story.
No, tell me.
So Constitution, 17th maybe. I think on the 17th there's an auction on Sotheby's, which I say wrong every time, but there's an auction on, I believe it's the first copy of the Constitution. I could drop the link to you. Hold on. It's
Like the physical?
Yeah, so they're auctioning it off, and it's supposed to be it's one of 11 surviving copies of the official Constitution. I can share.
Here's how dumb I am. I didn't realize that private citizens owned the Constitution, the copies of the physical Constitution. That seems ridiculous to me.
I mean, if it was auction, but so the basic idea of the story is people are putting together a DAO to come up with funds to then buy it, and they've already come up. The estimated value is between 15 and 20 million, and they're already at like 4 million that they've brought up since Sunday. I want to say maybe it was Saturday, but yeah, so they have it, and it's
That
called
seems
Constitution DAO. Is the link in this tab? But Constitution DAO, I don't want to. Constitution DAO.
Yeah, I got that.
I want to see what they're at now.
There we go.
So they're at
24%.
4.7 million. They're trying to raise 20 million. So what do you think about this? Would this be something that you'd be interested in? They've changed the website since this morning to have this more of like feel to it. But this morning, the picture up here was it was a Nick Cage GIF. It was like spinning around. So they're having fun with it. And I don't know.
It kind of feels like the dinosaur. I don't know if you remember, like the dinosaur,
like Rally
where you
Road.
bought a piece of the dinosaur. Like to me, you're doing this for fun. You're not doing it to make money, obviously, because like you're not. It doesn't seem like they want to sell it, right?
It's to say
like,
you can get. Yeah, it's to say that you have it.
So you own it, right? So yeah, like it's fun. Would I put money into it? Probably not.
But just imagine that conversation. Like Thanksgiving's on my mind because I'm going to see family. So, oh, what have you been up to with that crypto stuff? Oh, I bought a piece of the Constitution. Well, not really a piece of the Constitution. Like I paid money into a DAO, which is like an organization, and they
You
have
a
the
share of
Constitution.
it.
So I don't really have it, but like I don't really have a share of it. I have a share of the DAO that owns it. So it's not real. It's just imagine it. I can't. So yeah, I don't really.
Here's my
This is
question to
cool.
you. Does it make more sense to explain this to someone than buying into ShamDAO?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you want to simplify it into terms that aren't 100% accurate, and I know I suck for saying it that way, but like you could say I contributed to buying the Constitution. Cool.
And so you can pay in USD, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or like any other crypto if you want. So yeah, I thought it was super interesting. I don't know. I would guess right. I would guess they don't hit 20 million, but they might hit 10.
How long has it been going on for? Like they already have
A couple
4
days.
million. Yeah, that's not bad.
But it's also, I think it's the 17th when the actual
okay.
auction is happening. So what if some whale comes in and is willing to pay 25 million for this thing then, and they didn't raise enough? Do they send it back to you? I didn't read the fine print on that stuff.
Yeah. That's where like I don't get it, right?
See, Dan gets it. Why buy a Constitution DAO when a 16-year-old could 20x your investment?
That's true. Yeah, well, it's taking Bitcoin to the next level. Like, come on, Constitution, do something. They're not going to. The Constitution DAO is not throwing a yacht party. What would that yacht party look like if it was Constitution DAO? Not nearly as fun as Bored Apes, and I don't think the Bored Apes would be fun for me. Maybe that's more my brand. Maybe I have to contribute to this so I could go to that Constitution DAO party. As it's a brand play.
The other one I had was Timeless.
What is that?
The Treeverse, that next Treeverse drop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you can only mint that if you have a plot, right?
It's like insider.
It's
Yeah, you have
expensive
to already be
buy-in,
part of the
right?
group.
Like I'm interested in those too. If I had one, I obviously sold all those. Again, my ladders are too small.
I'll give myself like a C- on hosting this show. I'm a little sick and I missed an easy segue. So I have to go just take a hard left turn to go back to DeFi Kingdom World, and then we'll land the plane, I promise.
Yeah.
I need jewel price to go up. I can't take this anymore. Every day I'm checking price and it's dropping. Every day, check price, too low. I have overinvested by a lot. Can Pump Skull do something? Help!
One of those.
That's still my favorite one. He just he nails all the enunciations like perfectly. Like
pausing.
I enjoy that one a lot.
Yeah.
But we do need jewel price to go up. Our precious meat's down, our jewels down. Like I'm basically broke because we had an hour-long podcast show now.
Jewel doubled in price in like 24 hours.
Yeah, but
it's pretty insane.
It only up. We only want it to go up. Anytime all of our bags go down, why can't we just go up all the time? That's all.
Because all
I'm not asking for much. Lou.
We just need Jewel to be like $1 in July of next year. That's all that we need. Like at this rate, I mean, price is getting $1,600 or 1,600 jewels a day, like whatever his fake number was that he thought he was getting. So I mean, we're all gonna be billionaires at this rate, right? If the market cap is $2.168 trillion, and now the market. Oh, it went to zero. Where do you get that video from?
That was from a Twitch stream, but I took it from YouTube eventually. But yeah, I think that's more fitting as to how we're feeling with the general vibes of. God, I think that's better than all the Hard Rock Knicks. But,
I mean, what tattoos does that guy have? He's got weird tattoos.
That's a good point. I I do wish that I knew about this person before Halloween because I would have 100% been him for Halloween. It would have been
With
epic.
Hard Rock Nick?
No.
Oh.
So the market cap is $2.168 trillion. And now the market. Oh! It went to zero! Yo!
See,
Can you
what's
explain that video
going
to
on
me?
with the tattoos?
What's going on in the video? I don't know what's going. I don't
Hold on,
know.
let me get this joke off, then I'll explain it. He front ran Art Block's curator from today with his tattoos. They look very similar.
Yeah.
If you watch it again. So he was watching what coin was that? That Netflix show. What was it?
From
Netflix show?
Netflix? Squid Game?
It was a Squid Game coin,
Oh,
and it
okay.
got up to $1 trillion market cap. And then they literally just immediately on the stream, and then he went nuts. And he went through looking at transactions, and somebody put in 50K, and they're like, "Ooh, they wanted that 50K, man," because then they just took all of it. It's crazy. So yeah, that's the context. Thank you all for hanging out with us on this wonderful Monday where we are all losing money. But hey, last time that I know it's been a crazy bull run, and we're still in a bull run, and we're
It's
having
just
a slight correction, and people are
It's
freaking
just
out.
fake internet money anyway, right?
Matt, you you farming the magic internet money at all? MIM?
No, I don't understand that. I need, like, that's part of my goal for tomorrow or Wednesday is to learn how the hell, why I have these tweet alerts in our Discord now for when magic internet money appears. I need it. Lou, are you in MIM at all?
No, but I've seen those alerts, and I'm like, should I be like, like, why are there all these alerts? Summit, when Summit, that whole failure that John and I were in, well, it wasn't a complete failure, but you were getting returns in USDC, and then it switched to MIM, and I was like, now that it's even faker money, that's when I had to be like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. Let's get into some weird DeFi stuff for next week. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.